Hey everybody, and welcome back to Bad Work Stories Made Good. I'm Corina, and I'm here with the lovely Emma Matthews, way down in Waiheke Island, New Zealand, and I'm coming to you from the UK. How are you, Emma?
I'm very good, thank you, Corina. Just had my Matariki weekend break with family, which was lovely. So feeling refreshed and feeling like we're over that midwinter bump now, and hopefully we're heading towards some
Mm.
springtime. You don't want to hear that, I
Mm.
know, but
Well, we're in the middle of heat waves in Europe, and of course in the UK. It's still raining, if anyone's interested in the continuous weather report that I give every
really,
week.
really,
But
I
yeah,
thought, oh, summer.
notice long sleeves, long sleeves. So, bad work story to make good this week. What have we got in store?
Well, actually, just as I said, family actually is the topic this week. In fact, working
Mm.
with family, and in fact,
Wow.
family business. And it's a story that's very close to my heart because it's a work relationship between my husband and my son. So
Mm.
they work together, which, sometimes can be a joy and just recently has been a bit stressful. So the situation really is around performance, addressing a performance issue. That my
Mm-hmm.
son has not been really focused in pulling his weight in the team, including some errors that are pretty big for a small business. So we run a very small business, and got a project on. They're builders, so they're working together with others. There are two others on the site, so it's a very small team. And when you're not pulling your weight, or when you're not actually focused on doing the job, it can make a big difference to the team. And the sad thing is, the bad part about this is the relationship breakdown and the stress that it causes both of them, I think. But, maybe because I hear it more from my husband's perspective, it's the boss and the father, so the leader and
Mm-hmm.
the father having to navigate a relationship at work and out. So the bad work story really is that things sort of break down, communication, um,
Mm.
really sort of, communication breakdown. And things were very stressful for, as I say, for pretty much for my husband. So, yeah. What do we do in these situations? I know out there's a
Mm.
lot of people that work with family, and
Families,
I
yeah.
really really thought I'd put my feet up on the couch today and let you give me some some help. How can I help me,
Well,
Karina?
well, I'm sure you've already started to make this good. So let's. Do you mind if we look at it from a couple of levels, right?
Sure.
So tell me what you've been doing already, because I'm sure there's some kind of wife slash mama intervention going on. So tell us what you've done already, or what was your first, kind of look at this, and then what did you do,
Yeah, well, on the
and what's
wife
been the
side,
outcome?
I probably, listened to what was going on from my husband's perspective, and helped him, I think, to get some perspective and just to, basically settle down and get it out, whatever it
Mm,
was.
mm,
On the other side, I did probably do a mother intervention with my son and really take some time to sit down with him and talk about, what was going on, how it was affecting dad, and really, I suppose to share. My son didn't want to share his perspective at that point in time. He was pretty much like, I said, "Is there, anything you want to share?" He said, "Not
mm.
really." And so it was, it wasn't, I didn't know whether he was just ignoring me, or as kids do, even when they're 21, still can ignore you, but whether he was just processing. So yeah, that was the
That's
first step.
yeah,
Really check
and
in and see if everyone's okay.
yeah, totally. And where is it now? Like, is that it kind of what's
Well, where
happened?
that where
Like,
it is
is
now
it a
is
kind of
probably good.
standoff or?
Yeah, well, we
Hmm?
probably had a because part of my conversation with my son was actually about spending time together, and with his father, about spending time together out of work. which is
Mm,
probably my input is, actually, if you are working with your, nearest and dearest and family, you need to balance relationships. You need to remember that you've got a personal family relationship, and you need to feed that, as
mm,
well as working on your work relationship, so that things don't become, for me, one-sided. And so hence we went away together this weekend, and we've had a lovely time. There's been lots of connection, card game playing, family, fishing, lots of adventures. So I think, you've really got to make sure that you're balancing your relationship. That's really what we've done, I think, to get equilibrium. I would say it's equilibrium.
mm,
I'm sure
mm,
there's some more. And I don't know whether coaching family members is a good thing. I
mm,
think possibly my other thought would be, you should get a coach, an external person. Could be a friend, a friend or a
mm,
business mentor, or someone that's,
mm,
a bit removed, one removed, because for me to step in is not
mm.
necessarily, I'm always going to be seen as mum, and I'm not going to be seen as the coach or the facilitator helping
Yeah.
necessarily.
Well, you're
Although
not
I
neutral. Are you?
have
Yeah. You're
respect,
not
but
neutral.
yeah,
Yeah, you're not neutral. It's either you can't win, right? You're either
no,
going to be, oh, you're on Dad's side or you're on his side. The son, Alex's side. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, well, I love the idea about the deliberateness of the roles that we have, and that there's a time and place to really invest in the father son relationship and role outside of that work. So that's a beautiful thing, and you've just done that experience. So, well,
yeah,
beautiful. So I think the other ad and is that the stuff that we work with, which is setting up of this before it happens,
yeah,
because it's all very well in hindsight, and you go, oh God, it'd be great if we had something like this. But when a relationship is working well, is the time. It's kind of like your prenup, kind of
yeah,
thing. It's like we get in there about what can happen, and when things do go to the other end of the continuum, when we are falling out of love with each other around these behaviors, or that's how it feels, the frustration. That
mm,
how do we really, how do we address issues in the
yeah,
roles that we're in while maintaining love, respect, trust in each other, so
absolutely,
the key thing for me is always the pre-culture. So in the business, having the purpose and the values and how we work together, and deliberately having, it's kind of like even more deliberate about when we bring family members in.
yeah,
How do we actually navigate this? How do we do this in the face of our roles?
yeah,
Like what's going to work for you? What do you need from me when I stuff up?
yeah,
I'm just young. I mean, it's his first job, really, isn't it? Is
yeah,
that
yeah,
yeah? It's like, and so we're also that kind of thing from Clive's perspective of teaching his son how to be in the workforce.
yeah,
And I've come across a few kids, like when I say kids, 18 plus, who are starting, their own roles. I mean, how do they know what is the thing to do? And
yeah,
particularly when their default under stress is that authority, it's dad, kind of
mm,
thing. And that's what I've been doing all my life. And oh gosh, now he's my boss. But that doesn't kind of, in the stress environment, it doesn't connect, or it doesn't matter. That's just that reaction. So
mm,
how can we use this as an opportunity proactively to teach our young ones, again, young ones, young adults, to function in a really good way in the workforce.
yeah.
Does that make sense? Does that
Yeah, no,
resonate with you?
absolutely. And I think, there's always that so much love. Like, I think for
Mm,
Clive, my husband, he had so much stress about the fact that, he had to address an issue, but then he felt really, it really hurt him in his heart. And I think, if
mm,
maybe there'd been better set up, as you say, about how that roles and maybe what to expect. And so that, we walk on site, we've got, these tasks to do, and I'm going to be the leader, and
Mm,
the
mm,
organizer. And when I ask you to do something a certain way, it's specifically, there's a reason. And,
mm,
debriefing, I think maybe we've talked a bit
mm.
about debriefing in the past. I
Yeah.
think,
Mm.
a good exercise afterwards. On building sites, they have toolbox meetings. So there's quite a lot of prep, but it tends to be around health and safety. What do we need
Mm,
to be aware
mm.
of? What are the risks? What are the dangers? So I've been infusing into how we're feeling today. The simple check-in. Are you okay? Like, just on a very simple sort of like, yeah, I'm up, I'm okay, or I'm just, yeah.
Nice,
So
nice.
that the
Yeah.
guys don't need to have a long, involved conversation about how am I feeling today. But just a quick sort of yeah, good, yeah, good to go, or no, I'm not 100%, or yeah, no, I'm down. And then you can actually really help to gauge, and step in early, before you jump into an activity, to work out what do you need, what do you need to help you get ready to be
Yeah.
on for this
Oh,
job
gosh.
today.
Yeah, I think that's amazing because, you'd think that particularly in construction with high health and safety issues, I mean, we're talking about working, many meters off the ground and,
Yeah.
equipment and things that people's ability to be present and
Yes.
have their full attention focused on the job at hand and to be aware of your surroundings at the same time and the public and your teammates on site would be paramount, would be super important. So doing something like that is a really practical way to show that you care, and it has a practical function.
Yeah.
We care about each other, the job, the site, the public. And I
Yeah.
think, the other thing in there that just occurred to me too is to be really clear about, and it's kind of what you were mentioning before, Emma, about really clear about the expectations and needs. So Clive can actually say, as the leader here, what I need you to do is,
Yeah.
what I expect from you are these behaviors. And then giving Alex that opportunity to say, what he needs
Yeah.
in this situation. Maybe, it could be something like, I need you to be clearer. And this is the debriefing, right?
Yeah.
So as he's learning about
Yeah.
how to step in and out of these roles, I need you to be clearer, Dad, when you are the boss and when you're my dad.
Yeah.
That could be,
Absolutely. Yes.
and it could be something like Clive saying, so now I literally got my hard hat on.
Yeah. That's
I
right.
am the boss. I'm
Yeah.
not talking to you as my son.
Yeah.
It could be something as visible as that may, symbols that,
Yeah.
where we are in our relationship. So,
Yeah, and I think there's a lot about fairness. I think, for Clive, he doesn't want to, there's a lot when you're working with family, and certainly a father son, even a mother daughter, is like that favoritism. That, I mean, we talk
mm,
favoritism,
mm,
right? We know it, but we feel sometimes, oh well, he's a favorite because he's the boss's son. He'll get the
mm,
easy jobs, or he'll get recognized,
mm,
or
mm.
things like that. And I think that probably there's that's a little overcompensation on father's part to actually be fair and balanced. It's like,
Mm.
and
And
sometimes it can come
yeah.
out tougher. Like, he's tougher.
Yeah. And kids' radar will be up on that stuff, right? Oh, you come down harder on me because of our relationship. So it's a fine balance too, isn't it? Like in both parties. So it requires quite a finesse.
Yes.
And that, and even the way, more we talk, it's kind of like, wow, that pre-setup for success is so important, not only with a normal team that we, when I say normal, a non-family kind of team, but when
Yeah.
you're working with family members, the explicitness
Yeah.
of everything and around the values and how we show up. Yeah.
Because there's always a
Yeah.
little shorthand, right? You know that when you're with someone that you know very well, you can read their signals, you can
Mhm,
read their body
mhm,
language. There can often be almost like a look can be a message, that can bring something up to you. And so, yeah, that's really important that we are mindful of, yeah, maybe some of the nuances and the subtleties when we are working together with family members, and not to make it too in-house, not to make in jokes
mm.
or anything like
Totally.
that,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that you keep it, yeah, as you say, the culture of the workplace is quite different from the culture of the family, which is just something I'm sort of, as you're talking and I'm thinking is important as well.
Yeah, and I was just thinking too, that ripple of into the team, how does the excuse me, I'm just having a hot flash here. The ripple, she says, just wiping her brow.
Just
Get my words out. The ripple into the rest of the team too.
yeah.
How is it for the
Yes.
team, to have the boss's son on site,
Yes.
and how, and what is the purpose of having, again, we come back to our favorite words, purpose and culture. What is the purpose of having Alex on site?
Yeah.
Like just being really explicit around, teaching him the skills of the job, giving him an apprenticeship, helping him become a younger man, giving him a job, like giving him an opportunity to learn skills and earn money. Like
Totally.
none of that needs any apology, and
No.
it's deliberate. So other people on the team can go, "You're here to learn your trade." And
Yeah.
how do I, as maybe someone who's older and more experienced, need to interact with that? Or how can I pass on, to help this, young team members' growth,
Yes.
So
Yes.
lots of stuff around how we could include. And I think it's also got me thinking about another kind of family thing that I heard a couple of weeks ago, which kind of got me thinking, and it's interesting about how do we teach our young people to
Yeah.
actually be in jobs.
Yes.
And this young person's dad got her a job, right? And he was away for he was away for a week or on a course or something. And he was kind of like the deputy in charge. And she said, "Oh, Dad, so I'll be able to use your car park then." And I just thought, isn't it interesting? It's like,
Just a little perk. Just a little
just a
perk.
little perk. And this young person is, doing a very, very kind of very basic kind of security kind of job, right? Like opening and shutting doors or something.
Suddenly
And
they got a car park.
hey,
Elevate.
my dad will give me a car park. And I was just thinking, this is, interesting, in terms of, like setting yourself up for success.
Yeah.
And actually, and her father's reply on this, which is interesting, was, "Oh, you can use it once, but it won't look good if you use it more than once." And my reaction to that was, "Well, how about we don't use it at all?"
Oh, no. It doesn't
Well,
look good more than once. It doesn't look good at all.
once is all it takes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, the needs and expectations
Yeah.
of really sitting out, the young person down to say, when there is a family relationship,
Yeah.
the spotlight's on you.
Yeah.
And as you said, like that, is it favoritism or is it, the other side of that, the toughness because you are a family member? And yeah, it's a really interesting field. But yeah, coming back to, I think, is there anything else that you're kind of thinking as a question there, Emma? Or have we
No.
got...
I think that's covered it really well. I think that, I think we do need to always be clear, but yeah, I think this will help. And I think I
the
can probably
purpose and
broker
culture.
that conversation with both of them. And
Yeah,
get
and as
that
you
on
said,
track.
get someone else, who's not you,
Mm.
to do that. As you said, like, and that keeps your relationship out of that too.
Yeah.
Or you can point them in the right direction to self-facilitate that.
Yes.
And that would, like, hey, what's something they could work on together? Give them homework questions that
Yeah, I like
they
that.
could want to, have a beer and, off out of work hours and, and have a chat about refreshment. I know Clive doesn't drink, so coming back and just having that conversation, about and what they could do, just to finish up on this, would say, "Hey, we had this blow up. What am I learning from it, and what do we want to do differently next time?" That's a
Yes.
perfect segue into them having a
That's
guided
good.
conversation over the next session around the fire.
Yeah.
Caveman.
Yeah, exactly. Very good.
Very good.
That sounds
As
great.
always, right. If anything resonated with anyone, pick it up. Yeah, there's some options there. And as always, if there's something that's more urgent than just listening to us on our podcast, you know where to come. We're here to serve. So that's it
Absolutely.
from us. Until
Until
next
next
time.
time. Yep.
Until
May
next
all your bad
time.
work
Bye for
stories be
now.
good. Bye.
Exactly. Bye.